Welcome to the Husky Bible podcast. It's a sci-fi podcast, meaning that it's about nothing in particular.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Husky Bible. Hi, this is Ariel, said Husky Bible, and we're back with another episode. Pausing, and also had to stutter in the middle of a pause because if I didn't, it wouldn't be me. So, proof of life, there I am. Yay. How you guys been doing? Good? Right. Good. I'm gonna start podcast right away with shitty news. Yay. What a way to kick off something, make you feel good inside, because the purpose of this podcast is to make people laugh, and yet I have to bring the shit down right away by talking about shit that is not good. At least not for me. Well, there's two memorable things that happened this week. Actually three, in my estimation at least. Things that rocked me, both bad and good. I'll start with the bad first, because once they give you those options, well, I got good news and bad news. Which one you want to hear first? I always pick the bad because I want to get the sour shit out of the way. And I want to leave something with more of a positive taste in my mouth. So I'll go on with the bad. If you follow Christian apologetics, I lost 5 of you already. This past Tuesday, a man that's very near dear my heart passed away. His name was Ravi Zacharias. He was a Christian apologist. Again, I lost all of you. Please come back. Let me finish. He was a Christian apologist. He defended the Christian faith with logic and good arguments, and not so much thumping a Bible and going to the old reliable because the Bible says so. So he defended his faith with very sound and logical arguments, but he did it, and that's the twist with him and why I put him head and shoulders above other Christian apologists out there. He did it with love. He didn't do it to be a dick or to prove how smart he was. He did it with love. His focus was not to win an argument. His focus was not to be this all-knowing, all-powerful guy who had to humiliate the other and make him feel like a sack of shit. He brought up his point, but he did it with love, and he always gave respectful answers to people that didn't necessarily believe the same way he did. Was he a perfect man? I don't know. I never met him. And I'm not going to put my hand on the fire for him. But I will say that in terms of what he taught, it was very close to what I believe, in my estimation, and what I'm convinced at, very close to what my idea of what Jesus was trying to do. So, also, the reason why it hurts me so much is because he was, if not the main reason why I still stick around with the whole I believe in God thing. Because, I think I mentioned before, I went through a dark place, some 5-6 years ago. And, I purchased his book. Well, you can read all the posts I made for him. I kind of wrote a eulogy for him on my Instagram at that Ariel Duran. No plug. Well, I'm actually plugging. But if you care to read, go ahead and do that by your own self. Don't let me convince you. Anyway, so I kind of expressed what I felt about him. Nice. The vehicle just passed by. In the middle of a curfew. Anyway, I expressed what I felt about him, what he meant for me. I purchased this book, Has Christianity Failed You? And I felt that was a step to the right direction in terms of admitting, at least in the Christian side, a lot of mea culpa. Things that are wrong in Christianity, and to basically put the focus on Jesus and not so much of the fuck ups or the fuckery that you see in churches and most leaders that unfortunately most of them, if not saying 99.9% of them, have feet of clay because human. So it was kind of hard because I felt that this was a guy that could help or was at least aiming at the right direction, not trying to sell you a bit of goods in terms of religion. He was trying to tell you about what he believed, and ultimately what I believe also is the Son of God. Because, as I said, I still believe in it in a big part. I would have to say that it's between two guys. It's between him, Ravi Zacharias, and another dude whose name escapes me right now because I'm a dick. Also, my brain is farting a lot as we speak. Oh yeah, I just remembered R.C. Sproul. Now, in terms of theology, I think these two guys were a little bit too different in their approaches. One, I believe Ravi was more of a different route than R.C. Sproul, yet they were good friends in life, and now both are gone. And to me, in terms of giving you arguments for the existence of God, I don't think there were two better guys giving you best examples, logical examples, and right now I'm pulling for logic a lot. So those two guys were helpful in terms for me to sticking around here in the God thing. So rest in peace, Ravi. If you're curious what happened, cancer. Very quick, like 3 months, barely. It was a very brief battle. And now, I mean, what else can I say? Rest in peace, Ravi. And unfortunately, we have to continue this route and talk about the second death that hit me hard this week. And this guy I've only saw on TV wrestling. His name was Chad Gaspard. He was a pro wrestler. He was in WWE. He was part of the tag team known as Crime Time with JTG. And the man passed away this Sunday. They found his body on Wednesday. The circumstances of his death were that he was taking a swim in California in the beaches. I don't recall which beach, but there was like a current or a high tide that swallowed him and his son. Some rescue workers, some lifeguards came by to rescue them, and he instructed them to please save his son's life, his 10-year-old son's life, while the wave swallowed him in. After Sunday, he disappeared. 3 days later, his body showed up in the shore, and the man died a hero. He died saving his son's life. So, yeah, this is an excellent way to start a podcast. Very, giving it like really happy thoughts. So yeah, rest in peace, Chad Gaspard. A true example of what being a parent is. That are you willing to? A lot of parents say, "Well, I'll die for my kids." Well, he literally did, and he died a hero for that kid. And I know it sucks. I know some of you who do not believe in God would ask me, well, what would God do if he's so powerful and knowing and all powerful and good? What would he do in a situation like this? And I would honestly say, I don't have a fucking clue. I don't know. I left all my religious pretentious bullshit out the window after my experience 6 years ago, where I thought that I knew everything because I was so spiritual. Like, oh my God, I felt God talking to me, and he was like telling me stuff, and I feel that was God talking to me, and I just knew things because I knew that I knew that I knew that I knew. I'm no longer even close to being that dude anymore. I have dropped the act that I think I know stuff I don't. And I have surrendered that will completely. I have surrendered myself to the void of not knowing fuck. I know dick. I know fuck all. I know nothing. So I don't come here pretending to know that if there is a God way allow it. I don't fucking know. I don't have a clue. I don't have an answer. If there is a God, why he allowed something like this to happen, I don't fucking know. That this means God is a dick or an asshole for allowing something this horrible to happen? Well, I can answer that by answering this. Jesus claimed to be the Son of God and was crucified. So, make of that what you will. All I know is that just because you state that you believe in God, or because you state that God is good, that doesn't necessarily mean that he will take a bullet for you and make things go disappear in the night. Not that he wouldn't be willing to have your back, but it's not a guarantee. Your life is not a guarantee. It's a gift. It's a gift, and you have it for as long as you have it. And you know, you don't know when it's your time. You don't know when it's your day. I don't know if this is my last night on earth. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I simply don't know. No one does. So when you start thinking about your mortality, you have to conclude that simply you don't know. You think you do. You think you have a certain limit of days, but there's no guarantees on what that limit is. You don't know how you're going to go. I mean, unless you want to kill yourself. I'm sorry to take it to the dark place. This podcast started so fucking dark, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, let's go into something a little bit more positive. So, again, just to reiterate, R.I.P. Ravi Zacharias, R.I.P. Chad Gaspard. Both very tragic and unfortunate events. Now let's go something a little bit more positive, depending on your taste. This week we got some news stating that the long rumored, long awaited by some on the DC front of the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League movie is an actual reality, and it will be released on the new platform HBO Max on 2021. This is something I did not expect, because I thought this was not going to happen. The only other time where geeks united to get something that they wanted was the Sonic movie, and when they redesigned Sonic. This would be number 2. No pun intended. I mean, will it be better than the theatrical release? Quite frankly, anything could be better than that. That was atrocious. That was horrible. That was a piece of shit. And I actually liked it the first time when I saw it, but then I saw the weird fucking CG lips that they put to Henry, aka Superman, and I was like, no, fuck this. Fuck this. No, I can't do it. This is like the worst CG job ever. And we're talking about a studio that threw over $500 million on, or at least spent over $500 million on a fucking movie, which they cut like 70% of it, and then they started to reshoot it because we have to appeal the Marvel people. And this is not shitting on Marvel. They had the blueprint and they done well, but DC had to start playing catch up with Marvel, And what they did was jam pack a bunch of shit in 2 or 3 movies. Actually, they jam packed a bunch of shit in Batman v Superman, and then they tried to do it in Justice League. And then the producers were like, no, fuck this. They just used the excuse of Zack losing his daughter. It's like, you know what? You need to rest, aka we're firing you. And then they brought in Josh Whedon. And I don't blame Josh Whedon because, again, don't kill the messenger. It was mostly the studio that trimmed and picked and cherry picked whatever the fuck they wanted. And the blame goes to Josh Whedon for filling in. And he takes the blame for trying to make it more poppy, more flavorful to the taste of the executives. Not so much a piece of shit. Mind you, that movie was released as it was because they, even though the studio knew it was a piece of shit, what they released back then, they still released it because it was going to be profitable for them in the end in terms of stocks. Because the main players in the studio were going to get paid more money even if the movie tanked. Which it kind of did, although it didn't that much, because just on the star level, the movie did okay. Not gangbusters as, you know, a certain ensemble movie that was released last year did. That one did do gangbusters. So they're going to release it on HBO Max. There's still talks of whether there's going to be a 6-part series because it's actually like 6 hours long. I don't, you know, I'm kind of detached of all of this because I've decided in terms of my geekdom, because I will make a statement clearly that I am more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy, although I do not hate or dislike either one. But I do have to say clearly, this is not even a debate. Marvel has DC beaten in the movie department by a fucking country mile. By a country mile. Marvel destroys DC in theatrical movies. Everything else, it's the other way around. Video games, DC. Comics, DC. Animated series, DC. Animated movies, I don't even have to say it, DC. DC all the way. DC has beaten Marvel's ass in any other department except movies. In movies, Marvel is fucking Mount Everest. And that's it. So I'm not gonna shit on Marvel in their movie department. They killed it. That's it. DC is always gonna be playing catch up to that because DC owning all the characters and they're playing catch up. While Marvel only owns like 80% of their characters now because since after they bought Fox. Their parent company, aka Disney. So, and there's still some characters that are iffy because Spider-Man is alone. Hulk is alone. I don't know what other characters they have as loans. Still, with that limitation, Marvel beat the living shit out of DC in the box office. And yeah, it's not that DC is crying about it. They've done well. I mean, the Wonder Woman movie was great. Aquaman did gangbusters. Shazam did gangbusters, and so on and so forth. But those movies followed the Marvel formula in terms of funny. You know, add the action with some funny. So here's hoping, and we all know, all this is just to say that we know that the Zack Snyder stuff doesn't concentrate so much on funny, more like dark, bleak, and fucking horrible shit is about to go down. So, I mean, I'm game, whatever. I hope it's good. Warner Brothers, to their credit, are going to invest $20 million more to complete the special effects. Recently, oh my god, I can't speak. Recently, I read an article stating that the original cast will not return to do reshoots since they pretty much filmed everything that they needed, and it was mostly needed to complete. Zack's version was post-production, aka CG. And you can talk shit about Zack Snyder's direction and whatnot. The one thing Zack Snyder has above anybody else is his good CG implementation. I think he's one of the best. His movies, his CG in his movies are very good looking. It looks very good. It's not CG-esque. It looks almost real. So I'll give him that. So hopefully it's good. I'm not even gonna shit on it or gonna disqualify it right away. I'm just gonna be like, well, we'll see what we see. Okay, so congratulations, Zack Snyder, for getting your cut finally. The geeks can rest easy now and wait just a year until you get your subscription to HBO Max. Free plug for HBO Max, not getting a dime out of it. Because, again, 5 people only listen to this podcast. Anyway, let's continue with another subject in hand. It seems that shitting on pro wrestling is still a thing. Yeah. I've talked about this in the podcast before. The main mommy, Tom Segura, is still doing his bit on fucking crushing poor smarks and marks around the world by talking shit about wrestling. And the amazing thing is that wrestlers are biting the bait. They're biting it. That's the amazing thing. And not even wrestlers, as sports, how should I call these people? Okay. Wrestling journalists. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Wrestling journalists are complaining about this as well, and you can see it if you have the cesspool known as Twitter, which I barely use, although I am in it. I barely use it because, again, cesspool. You can see them bitching, whining, complaining, and to Tom's credit, the main mommy, he paid. I don't know if he did it or were fans that paid it. I think he did. He paid cameos for 3 legends. He paid cameos to Kurt Angle, Ric Flair, and Bret Hart. You gotta see this. You gotta go to Tom Segura at Segura Tom on Instagram. You gotta go see it. And his Instagram TV. Oh my god, it is so damn funny. And again, I'm a wrestling fan, and I'm not insulted. Like, look, wrestling has always been like the I don't know, the redheaded stepson of pop culture in the stateside. It will never get respect. It will never get its due respect. I don't know if it even deserves some respect because you know where wrestling came from. Carnivals. It's a carny thing. I mean, a lot of shit in American pop culture came from carnivals, like vaudeville and shit. But wrestling is the one thing that has stayed true to to its carny roots. It's so fucking carny. It's so fucking fake. But at the same time, it's entertainment. It's entertaining. And I think Vince McMahon nailed it in the fucking head when he renamed World Wrestling Federation into World Wrestling Entertainment. Because that's the key word, entertain. Has it done that job lately? No, it fucking sucks. That's the reason why the Undertaker documentary, which is filmed kind of the style of the Last Dance of the 98 Chicago Bulls, aka the Michael Jordan documentary that we have talked about a lot. It's the reason why they have doing that type of thing with the Undertaker, because the man himself, Mark Calloway, the process of him getting into that character now well into his mid-50s is far more interesting than any goddamn fucking stupid storyline they're spitting out in whatever 3 programs they have a week. And this is coming from a guy who has been a wrestling fan since he was 5. I love professional wrestling. I love it. But I cannot hide the sun with my thumb and tell you that, oh no, it's fucking great. The athleticism these guys display is great. The when a match is good. But the fucking storylines that are coming out is like being shit. Is being birthed by taking a dump on a fucking toilet. It sucks. It fucking sucks. I fucking hate it. I'm watching AEW, and even that last week was like, with certain highlights there. Like, for example, I like the Jake the Snake and Arn Anderson promo, and the Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy match. Oh, I also like the Orange Cassidy match. But then everything else was like, meh. So I don't know. Maybe it's that my palate is very delicate and I don't like to be shown shitty things. Or is it that it just, maybe my tolerance for wrestling has come to a peak. But be that as it may, I just find it that wrestling gets a really bum deal. But I don't blame Tom Segura for shitting on it because it deserves to be shit on. Maybe this is what it needs to get better. Maybe this is what it needs in order to accept it for what it is and make it something better out of it. I don't know. I really don't know. But I really want pro wrestling to exist. I want pro wrestling to succeed, but not in this current condition as it is. And I'm speaking mostly on the WWE side. They need to get rid of all the corny bullshit that they present and try to present it in a more entertaining matter, because I'm really not satisfied. But then again, that's just me. That's just my opinion, which counts for shit. Speaking of shit, and this is something going back to my personal shit. One of the reasons that, and I kind of already brought it up earlier when talking about Ravi. Yes, reminding people about something that was very dark. Something that I know that exists in like 99.9%. That again, that accuracy, that percentage accuracy, hitting that precisely on the dot. I like to call this the fake ass spiritual bullshit. Fake ass spiritual bullshit. What is fake ass spiritual bullshit? Well, it means exactly what it means. It means that a group of people that have this figurative spiritual dick measuring contest by showing how spiritual they are, by showing how many texts of the Bible they can post in their Instagram feeds or their WhatsApp feeds, or creating groups to chat just to show how spiritual they are. And not that there is anything wrong with you expressing your faith. I don't have any problem with people expressing their faith whatsoever. That's not the issue. The issue is that when you do it as something to, like, you know how they say that people that buy big cars and big guns and it's just to overcompensate for the lack of something. So when you talk a lot of smack in the spiritual department, in my estimation, in my how do I say this? In my way of thinking, you're trying to overcompensate the fact that maybe you're not that spiritual, but you want to seem that way in order to have people look at you with respect and look at you like, oh, look at this guy. He's so spiritual. Look at him. He seems to be grounded. I make no assumptions of that matter because, as I stated before, I know nothing. I don't have anything. I just trust God at the end that he will throw me a bone. And if he doesn't throw me a bone, he won't throw me a bone. But I believe in him, and that's basically where it ends to me. As you can see, I have an unfiltered mouth that is very pottied and dirty and not very, very clean and not very, very Christian. And I probably say a lot of fucking ill things and think probably a lot of ill things. And I've probably done a lot of fucking ill things. So there's a lot of shit in me that is still shitty. And I'm not going to hide behind the veil of being uber spiritual and trying to make people believe that I'm this super spiritual guy when I'm fucking not. Because the fact is, even though you may read the Bible and go on your knees every morning and all that shit, you really don't know dick. Not to the degree that God does. So stop pretending that you know shit. And this is not going to anybody specifically. This was me. This was me like 7, 8, 9 years ago. I read some of the shit I wrote in Facebook and I want to vomit. I want to fucking vomit. Because look at this pretentious asshole. He thinks that he knows everything. And I really, subconsciously, I thought I did. I fucking thought I did. I fucking lied to myself to the point that I thought that I knew. And that's what I realized, that most religious people, that's what they do. They trick themselves. They have psyched themselves to the point that they think that they know everything. And let me tell you, it's something much more liberating knowing that you don't know. I don't know if that fucking makes sense. It's just that, you don't need to put up this fucking front. It's okay to be scared. It's okay that you're not knowing. That's what the whole point of trusting in God is. God, I don't know. Guide me. I don't know. Guide me. I don't know. I can't pretend to be this all-knowing, because I am not all-knowing. I am not all-powerful. I don't know shit. I don't know dick. And I fucking feel pity for the ones that do. I feel pity for them because they have lied themselves to stupidity. And that goes for any side. I mean, I don't care if you believe in God or not. The fact of the matter is, even if you have science or you don't, even if you have certain amount of knowledge, I mean, think about it. 500 years ago, there was a certain level of knowledge that was around in the world, and the most elite of the elite thought a certain way, and that knowledge of 500 years ago now means dick. It means dick. Because science has advanced so much, knowledge has advanced so much, we know so much stuff now that knowledge back then is now like fucking kids play. I mean, I'm not shitting on science. I don't mean to shit on science, but science doesn't even know what gravity is. They'll tell you what it does. They'll talk about the laws of gravity and all that shit, but they don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know either. None of us know. There's certain things that are unexplained, and we'll eventually get there. Maybe, maybe not. Like, the whole universe is fucking vast. It is fucking huge. And to be pretentious on either end, both if you believe in God or not, that we're gonna get there. The fuck you know? What the fuck any of us know? We don't know dick. And the faster we realize this shit, I think we'll be living more in peace. Because I think that in most cases, the case that some atheists have against believers is that believers are kind of they are dicks. They are fucking dicks. And they take their spiritual superiority and try to, again, it goes down to a glorified dick measuring contest. I have no other analogies for it. It's a glorified dick measuring contest. I believe in God, therefore, I'm more connected to the man upstairs, which means that you are fucked. Have a nice day, sir. Burn in hell. That's the fucking attitude that most religious people have. Not all of them do. There's some people that believe in God and are actually thinking of their fellow man in a more positive light, and God bless those people. But unfortunately, for every good Christian out there that does something good, there's 100 million of them that fuck it up royally. And I'm probably one of them. And not in the probably a traditional sense of the word, but nonetheless, it is what it is. So, That was a load off my chest. Again, still watching more Community. I love Community. Have I said that before? Yeah. The more time flies, and I will say it again, if you don't like it, go fuck yourselves. This is my podcast. Sorry, all 5 of you who are listening. I love Abed. I'm like, I wish the people around me would bend over backwards to fulfill all my little whimsical shit, just so that I can live my fantasy world. But I'm fucking 42. So yeah, I'll insist. Watch Community. Great show. Creators of Rick and Morty and the co-creators of some of the best Marvel movies out there. So there you go. And I think we'll conclude the podcast for now. Please pray that I will get a partner to do this with and bounce off ideas with, so this would be more entertaining, because I can only come up with so much material. My social media and whatnot, you'll get that in the link in the description. Check out my TeePublic shirts, please, and my TeePublic store, please. The link again will be available in the description. Buy some t-shirts. I think they were in the special a few days ago. If not, well, still buy if you have the money. If you don't buy. So again, this was Ariel Duran. This has been the Husky Babu. Take care. Bye.